Welcome back to the channel, Rare Coins History, Treasure Hunters and Coin Lovers. If you're passionate about finding hidden gems in your pocket change or uncovering the stories behind valuable coins, then you're in for an exciting ride today, because in this video, we're shining a spotlight on one of the most surprising and sought-after coins in United States history, the 1983 Washington quarter dollar. Now, most people wouldn't think twice about a quarter from the 1980s. After all, it's just 25 cents, right? But what if I told you that one special quarter from this very year, if it has the right mint mark and the right condition, could be worth thousands and thousands of dollars? Yes, you heard that right. This isn't just another old coin. It's a piece of American history hiding in plain sight. So stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know what to look for, and maybe, just maybe, you'll discover that you've been holding a small fortune all along. Let's take a step back in time to understand the story behind the 1983 quarter. The early 1980s were a tough time for the U.S. economy. The country was battling inflation, recession, and a series of global financial challenges. As a result, the U.S. Mint made significant cost-cutting changes in the production of coins. These cost-saving decisions affected the quality and materials used in coin minting during that time, and the Washington quarter was no exception. Now here's the important part: in 1983, no official mint sets were released by the U.S. Mint. That means collectors couldn't get pristine, untouched coins directly from the mint like they could in other years. So any high-quality 1983 quarters that exist today had to survive decades of circulation, which makes finding one in perfect, uncirculated condition incredibly rare. On the front of the coin, you'll find the familiar profile of George Washington, a design that has graced the quarter since 1932. The word "Liberty" appears above, and "In God We Trust" is inscribed to the left. Below Washington's bust, you'll see the date, 1983. But here's what you should pay close attention to: the mint mark. Depending on where it was struck, you may see a small P for Philadelphia or a D for Denver just beside the hairline of Washington's portrait. While both versions can be collectible, the Denver mint-marked quarters, that little D, are especially worth watching. Why? Because some 1983 D quarters were struck with exceptional sharpness and clarity, creating what experts call a high-grade specimen. Collectors highly prize these coins, but there's more. Some 1983 quarters have been discovered with minting errors, such as misaligned dies, off-center strikes, or even coins missing key details due to worn dies. These types of errors are like golden tickets in the coin collecting world. Each flaw tells a unique story, and makes the coin stand out even more in the eyes of collectors. And then there's the reverse side, the iconic bald eagle clutching a bundle of arrows with wings outstretched. While the design seems simple, specialists look closely at how well the details are struck: the feathers, the arrows, the lettering. A sharp, well-defined strike from 1983 is almost unheard of, which is why it's such a big deal when one shows up in near mint or mint condition. But let's not forget about condition. For coin collectors, condition is everything. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a flawless coin, no scratches, no discoloration, no marks from circulation. Finding a 1983 quarter with a grade above MS 65 is extremely rare. Most of the coins from this year are scratched, dented, or dull from decades of USE.SO. If you find one that has sharp detail, shiny surfaces, and no signs of wear, you might just be holding something very special. Combine that condition with a unique error, or even just the right mint mark, and you've got yourself a collector's dream. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. How much could a 1983 Washington quarter dollar actually be worth? Well, if you happen to find one of these rare beauties, let's say, a high-grade uncirculated 1983 quarter with a Denver mint mark in perfect condition, you could be looking at a value of up to $48,000. That's right, a small quarter, once worth just 25 cents. Could now be worth $48,000 to the right collector or at a high-end coin auction. Unbelievable, right? So go ahead, check your change jar, dig through that old drawer, or look through your childhood coin collection. You might just uncover a coin that changes everything. Today, we're diving deep into the story of a coin that millions of Americans have spent without a second thought, the 1974 Washington quarter dollar. But this isn't just any coin. Hidden in the shadows of pocket change and dusty coin jars, this humble 25-cent piece has a secret. Under the right conditions, with the right mint mark and striking detail, this coin could be worth more than a brand new car, even more than some people's annual salary. Yes, you heard me right. And in this video, we're going to reveal why this seemingly ordinary coin from 1974 has become a star among collectors, what details you should be looking for, and how you might just have a small treasure hiding in your own home. So grab a seat and stay tuned, because this journey through numismatic history might just lead you to a life-changing discovery. Let's begin with the historical backdrop. The year 1974 was an important one in American history. The country was still reeling from the Vietnam War and approaching one of the most turbulent political events of the 20th century, the Watergate scandal. Economically, inflation was creeping upward, and tensions were building. In the middle of all this, the U.S. Mint was continuing its usual operations, striking millions of coins for commerce, including the Washington quarter. This 25-cent coin had already become a fixture in American currency. First introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the design remained largely unchanged for decades. The obverse features the profile of the nation's first president, bold and proud, with the inscriptions, Liberty and, In God We Trust, and the year of mintage just beneath. But what truly grabs a collector's attention is that tiny letter to the right of Washington's ponytail, the mint marked at IN 1974. Quarters were minted at several locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins from Philadelphia bear no mint mark, Denver minted coins carry a D, and San Francisco pieces feature an S. Each of these mint marks tells a story about where the coin came from, but more importantly, they determine how rare and valuable a specific piece might be today. So, why are some 1974 Washington quarters worth far more than just face value? It all comes down to condition, rarity, and special characteristics like minting errors. Many of the coins minted in 1974 were heavily circulated. They passed through countless hands, vending machines, and cash registers, gathering scratches, dings, and wear. That's why finding a 1974 quarter in pristine, uncirculated condition is already quite rare. But things get even more exciting when you factor in what collectors call strike quality, how well the coin's details were stamped at the mint. Some 1974 quarters are known for having exceptional strikes. In these rare cases, every detail pops, from the strands of Washington's hair to the feathers on the eagle's wings on the reverse. The reverse, by the way, features a bold American eagle with wings spread wide, perched on a bundle of arrows, a symbol of strength and readiness. Now, here's where it gets even more fascinating. Some 1974 quarters, especially those struck at the Denver Mint, are known to have minting errors, and these are the true prizes for collectors. Errors can include double dies, where the image is accidentally struck twice, creating a shadow effect, off-center strikes, where the image is noticeably misaligned, or even die breaks and cuts, which leave unique raised lines or blobs on the coin's surface. These errors weren't intentional, but they've become incredibly valuable due to their uniqueness. Even a slight variation in design, a missing letter, or a faint doubling effect can send the value of one of these quarters skyrocketing, especially if it's been kept in excellent condition over the years. In the world of coin collecting, rarity plus condition plus uniqueness equals value, and let's not forget that some 1974 quarters were mistakenly struck on planchets intended for other coins, such as nickel or half-dollar blanks. These types of mistakes are so rare that when they appear at auctions, they often spark bidding wars among serious collectors. But before you get too excited and run to your piggy bank, there's something else to remember: coin grading is key. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, with 70 representing a perfect, flawless coin. The higher the grade, the more it's worth, especially if it's graded by a trusted third-party service like PCGS or NGC. So now, the big question you've been waiting for: how much could a 1974 Washington quarter be worth if it has the right mint mark, is in near-perfect uncirculated condition, and maybe even has a rare error? Well, if you happen to have one of these exceptional coins. Let's say a 1974 D quarter in brilliant uncirculated condition with a rare minting error, its value could reach an astonishing $55,000, yes, that's right. A coin that originally cost just 25 cents could now be worth $55,000. All it takes is a careful eye, a bit of luck, and maybe a trip to a professional coin dealer for a proper evaluation. So check your coin jars, sift through that old pocket change, and look a little closer the next time you get a quarter in return. That tiny piece of metal might just be your ticket to something big. Today, we're exploring a piece of American currency that you've probably held in your hands dozens of times, maybe even spent without realizing what it could be worth. But today, you'll never look at it the same way again. We're talking about the 1979 Washington quarter dollar, a common coin with an uncommon story, and in some rare cases, an unbelievably high value. Now, before you rush to check your spare change, let's take a journey into the fascinating history, design, and hidden value behind this iconic American coin. Because believe it or not, this small 25-cent piece from 1979 might just be worth a fortune. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, and you might even discover that you've got a $54,000 treasure sitting right under your nose. The late 1970s were an interesting time in American history. The economy was going through inflation, the Cold War tensions were rising, and technology was just beginning to change the world. Amid all that, the U.S. Mint was continuing its production of everyday coins, including the ever-popular Washington quarter. The design itself hadn't changed much since it was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of President George Washington. And yet, this coin has remained one of the most collected and studied denominations in American numismatics. Now let's talk about the 1979 Washington quarter. On the front side, you'll see the bold profile of George Washington, stern, iconic, and instantly recognizable. Above his head, the word Liberty stands strong, while In God We Trust sits just to the left of his neck. The date, 1979, is stamped right at the bottom. But the small detail that holds massive importance is the mint mark, a tiny letter located just next to the ribbon on Washington's hair. The mint mark tells us where the coin was made. In 1979, quarters were struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. A coin with no mint mark was produced in Philadelphia. A coin with a D was struck in Denver. And coins with an S were produced in San Francisco, usually as proofs or special collector coins. But not all mint marks are created equal, and that's where the story starts to get interesting. Quarters from this year were mass-produced, with hundreds of millions entering circulation. Because of that, most 1,979 quarters you find today are worn, scratched, or damaged from years of use. But a small number, a very small number, were preserved in near-perfect, uncirculated condition. These are the ones collectors go crazy for, but there's more. Some 1979 quarters come with striking errors that make them incredibly valuable. These errors might include double die obverse, DDO, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or coins that were struck on the wrong metal. Each of these minting mistakes creates a unique and rare variation, and coin collectors are always willing to pay top dollar for something that no one else has. Let's dive into a few examples. A double die obverse means the coin's design was accidentally struck twice during minting, causing some of the letters or numbers to look blurry, doubled, or shadowed. An off-center strike occurs when the coin is not aligned correctly with the die, resulting in a lopsided appearance. These might seem like flaws, but in the world of collecting, they're treasures. They prove the coin is rare, unusual, and in some cases, one of a kind. Then there are planchet errors. A planchet is the blank piece of metal that gets stamped into a coin. Sometimes, quarters are mistakenly struck on the wrong type of planchet, like one meant for a nickel, a penny, or even a foreign coin. These freak occurrences are incredibly rare, and if you happen to spot one, you might be holding a 5-figure coin in your hands. And we can't forget about condition. Coin grading plays a massive role in determining value. A coin that's scratched and circulated might be worth face value, but one that's been preserved in brilliant uncirculated condition, with sharp detail and no wear, can be worth hundreds or even thousands. The grading scale goes from 1 to 70, and anything above MS 65 is considered top tier. Combine that kind of condition with a rare error or a unique minting feature, and you've got a recipe for a very valuable coin. So here's the question everyone wants to know: what's the maximum value a 1979 Washington quarter can reach? Let's paint the picture. You're going through an old coin collection or a box of pocket change. You find a 1979 quarter. You take a closer look, and you notice something odd. Maybe it has an unusual strike, or it seems misaligned, or the lettering looks doubled. Maybe it even has a unique coloration or a planchet error. You get it graded. It comes back as mint state, maybe even MS 67 or higher. And the auction houses start calling. Now imagine this: that one coin, which once bought you a pack of gum, could now sell to a serious collector or at a high-end coin auction for an astonishing $54,000, yes, $54,000. That's what a rare, high-grade, mint-era 1979 Washington quarter can be worth in today's market. So what are you waiting for? Check your change jars, dig through your drawers, and take a closer look at every 1979 quarter you come across. You never know, you could be holding one of the rarest and most valuable quarters of the 20th century. Today, we're going to explore a coin that many people overlook. It's not a coin from the 1800s or an ancient relic lost to time. It's a coin that might be sitting quietly in your pocket change or tucked away in a jar at home. We're talking about the United States 1994 Washington quarter dollar. A coin so common, so familiar, that few ever think to look twice. But what if I told you this unassuming piece of metal could be worth a small fortune? This isn't just another story about rare coins. This is a story about how one small detail, a mint mark, a minting error, or even the coin's condition, can change everything. So if you've got a quarter from 1994 lying around, you'll want to watch this video all the way through. Because by the end, you'll understand how one of these coins recently sold for an eye-popping amount of money, and how yours might too. Let's go back to 1994. It was a time when America was booming with cultural shifts, rising technology, and economic momentum. Bill Clinton was president, the internet was making its way into homes, and the U.S. Mint continued to produce the coinage we've all come to rely on. Among those coins was the Washington quarter, a coin that's been in circulation since 1932 and remains one of the most iconic and widely recognized coins in American currency. The 1994 Washington quarter kept the same traditional design that generations of Americans had seen for decades. On the obverse side, we see the stately profile of George Washington, facing left. The word "Liberty" is proudly placed above his head. "In God We Trust" sits just left of his neck, and the date, 1994, is displayed at the bottom. Just beside Washington's ponytail is where you'll find the mint mark, a tiny letter that holds big significance. Now, this is important. In 1994, quarters were produced at 3 different U.S. mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. If you see no mint mark, it came from Philadelphia. A small d means it was struck in Denver. And the S indicates a San Francisco proof coin, usually made for collectors and never intended for circulation. While most of these coins are worth no more than their face value today, a rare few hold secrets that could be worth thousands, or even more. So what makes a 1994 Washington quarter so valuable? It all comes down to 3 things: condition, rarity, and minting errors. Let's start with condition. Most quarters from 1994 were heavily circulated. You'll find them with scratches, worn-out details, and dull surfaces from decades of use. But once in a while, a coin emerges in mint or near-mint condition, untouched by time. These coins are called uncirculated or mint state, and they're graded on a scale from 1 to 70. Anything above MS 65 is considered extremely high quality. And when a 1994 quarter is graded MS 67 or higher, collectors start paying serious attention. But condition alone isn't everything. Some 1994 quarters have been discovered with rare minting errors, and this is where things get really interesting. Imagine a coin that was accidentally struck off-center, or one that was hit twice by the minting press, creating a double image. These are called double die errors. Or how about a coin that was struck on the wrong kind of metal, like a nickel planchet or even a foreign blank? These types of minting mistakes are incredibly rare and highly desirable to collectors. There are also coins with clipped planchets, where a piece of the coin is literally missing due to a cutting error at the mint. Others may show die cracks, cuds, or even rotated dies, all of which make the coin more unique and, therefore, more valuable. These aren't flaws in the traditional sense. In the world of numismatics, these are treasures. Even something as simple as a stronger strike from one mint compared to another can create added value. Coins struck at the Denver Mint, for example, are often known for sharpness and clarity, making them more desirable when in pristine condition. Add a minting error to that, and you've got a combination that could set the auction house on fire. And let's not forget about proof coins, those mint-marked quarters from San Francisco. These coins were specially made with polished dies and planchets, resulting in shiny, mirror-like finishes and crisp details. While most of them are stored carefully by collectors, a few have found their way into circulation, making them exciting surprises for those lucky enough to find one in their change. Collectors all over the world are constantly on the lookout for these special variations, and when they show up, bidding wars begin. Coin dealers, auction houses, and serious hobbyists will compete for the rarest and finest examples. A coin that might have once been used to pay for a soda could now be a centerpiece of someone's prized collection. Now for the moment you've all been waiting for. How much can one of these rare 1994 Washington quarter dollars actually be worth? Well, if you happen to own a 1994 quarter with a Denver Mint mark, that small d, in perfect, uncirculated condition, and if that coin also includes a rare minting error like a double die or off-metal strike, its value can skyrocket. One such coin, combining high-grade, exceptional detail, and a minting anomaly, recently sold for an unbelievable amount. That single quarter, just 25 cents in face value, sold for a jaw-dropping $59,000. Yes, you heard that right. $59,000 for a 1994 quarter. That's enough to buy a brand new luxury car, put a down payment on a house, or take the trip of a lifetime, all from one rare coin you might already owe so now's the time. Check your drawers. Look through your piggy banks. Flip over every quarter you find. That 1994 coin you've been ignoring for years might just be the key to unlocking a life-changing treasure.